Welcome back to the Fit Executive Show. I'm your host, Arne, and before I dive into today's show, which is titled Physiology over Psychology, I'm going to dive into that in a second, and it's going to hit it's going to hit for business, it's going to hit for fitness, it's going to hit for the way you show up in life, how to win more at the game of life. And before I do that, if any of the episodes so far have had an impact on you, then please go to Spotify or iTunes, just leave us a 5-star review. If you are watching this on YouTube, just subscribe to the channel, and this is how we grow the show. The more people see this, the more people benefit from this. So if you've benefited from it, then please help us on our mission to make this world a sexier planet, and let your friends know, let your network know, let your colleagues know, let your sales team know, everybody who needs to hear it, right? So super appreciate it. So that's it, but let's have some fun with this show. So if you are here, you are here because you want to optimize your life, you want to optimize your mind, you want to optimize your mental game, your physical game, and you want to win more. And before we go into the actual topic, I want you to think about a moment in your life where you were the most confident you've ever been. Maybe it was a day in your life where you were like, this was the best day of my life. You had a major win, a major breakthrough. You had just a fantastic time, and you felt like you could take on the whole world. Okay, now maybe you're working out right now, maybe you're driving, maybe you're on your walk while you're listening to this. I want you to think about this day or this moment when you were the most confident you've ever been in your entire life. And I want you to think about it for a second. I want you to remember how what pictures you saw, what outfit you wore, how you felt, what you smelled, what you saw, what colors were there. Was it summer, winter time? What sounds did you hear? What's the soundtrack to this event? And it's usually like we remember those moments in pictures, right? And if you can snap back and you can feel it, that feeling you had at that moment, okay? Maybe you were younger, maybe you were in college, maybe it was yesterday, right? I don't know. But whatever that feeling is, I want you to just harness it for a minute. And I want you to think about it, okay? For me, that was the day when my son was born. It was a hot August day. So we were at the birth center. My son is named Harley, and my wife's named Grace. And Grace just showed up in a way where I had the most respect for it. And she probably also would say that this is the moment where she was the proudest in her life. But I was the proudest because I am the man that she chose, okay? And just being chosen by such a strong woman must means like it tells a lot about me, right? So I felt such a strong connection to life. I had this feeling of like everything is working for us, and just seeing this happening, right? Just seeing this happening made my jaw drop, and it made me feel like, oh my goodness, the best is yet to come. Okay, so this is what it was for me. Now go back to what it was for you. But just seeing this little baby reaching and struggling and eventually making it, and obviously also Grace helping Harley. Just seeing this miracle being born into the world made me realize we have unlimited strength inside of us. The life is limitless. We can achieve anything we set our mind to if we commit to a goal and we push and we shove and we get back up when we fall down until we achieve it. The universe is on our side. It helps us to achieve it because it wants us to win, okay? All the time. And the reason I wanted to share this on the show, or I wanted to start this show today with this little story, is because it's been proven that your physiology can override your psychology in an instant, meaning you could have all of the negative self-talk, you can have the worst day in your life, and you like maybe that is on your mind right now, but in an instant of thinking back to the time when you were the most confident version of yourself ever, and you feel it and you sit in it for a moment, for a moment, maybe a minute or two, automatically the physiology, the psychological change in your, the physiological change in your body overrides the psychology inside your head. And for anybody who's been in self-development, like you probably heard the name Tony Robbins, right? If you hear him speak, this is one of the things that he talks about the most. And so if you've ever been to, let's say, like unleash the power within, this is one of his events, or if you watch the show on Netflix, I Am Not Your Guru, that's why people are jumping around like maniacs for hours and hours and hours on end. He's trying to prove to you that you can override your psychology in an instant by creating emotion. Motion comes from emotion, and emotion comes from motion, right? They are interconnected. And by creating an emotion and the feeling that you ultimately want to embody, by creating the physiology, you can create the emotion that you want to feel. Okay, so now let's go into the details here. So there's a trick that you can utilize, and I utilize it multiple times per day if I need to. So that's there. Study after study after study, there are TED Talks about it, Tony Robbins teaches on it. So that should be nothing new. And if it's new to you, obviously I want you to think about it for a second, but I want you to think about that feeling. If that's true, that means the opposite is also true. And if the opposite is true, that means that you can act out the feeling of being unconfident. Okay? And if you do that and your physiology is like hunched over, your shoulders are down, you're like the classic laptop, if you're watching me on YouTube right now, like the classic position on your laptop, or when you're on your phone, you're hunched over. This is a bad physiology. Shoulders down, you're not willing to make eye contact, you're slouched over. And that vibration, you're looking at the ground, you're looking downwards. This is how an unconfident person looks like, right? But that vibration that you're emitting is making you unconfident. It's not only making you look unconfident, it's making you feel unconfident. And it's literally ripping the confidence away from yourself. So by harnessing a feeling of either being confident or not confident, you're dictating your psychology in the moment. And it's not only about thinking about this feeling, it's about your body language. That has huge implications. Now, I'm going to take you down another path, and I'm going to tie this thing together in a second. So the reason I geek out about high performance, about achieving, about chasing down dreams, about watching people who are movers and shakers that are actually doing things and are winning in life. I love high performance because it's this ultimate mind-body experience when both are working in unison, in perfect synergy together, when all of the systems inside your body are working in perfect synergy together. You have the physiological aspect, and then you have the psychological aspect too. And the reasons I love fitness so much is because it changes the way a person shows up those those tiny little micro behaviors. The reason that I started out the podcast today in the way that I did, and I asked you to think about a time when you were the most confident you've ever been in the entire world and in your entire life, and I have an exact picture on my desk of of my son that reminds me of that time for myself, so I can snap back into that moment and I can feel and harness that emotion. And if I do that, then the physiological shifts change the way that I stand, change the way that I speak. It's those micro behaviors that you might not even notice. But when I think about how proud I can be to have such a strong wife who chooses me every single day, and how I want to be a role model for my son and enable him to achieve anything he wants, become even better than I am. And when I think about the man I have to be to do that in the best way possible, my shoulders are back, my chest is out, my heart is open, I'm calm, I'm centered, I stand as tall as I can be, I smile confidently, I'm focused. And if I'm thinking about those things that make me not confident, those micro behaviors change. I'm gonna be slouched. I'm gonna be protected, right? My heart's not gonna be open. I'm gonna speak differently. I will breathe through my mouth. I will make myself smaller, right? I'm gonna walk into a room differently, right? My handshake is gonna be different, right? So maybe you're in your 50s, maybe you're in your 40s, maybe you're in your 60s. Doesn't really matter. But if you never thought about this in your entire life, and now I gave you a trick to override your psychology in an instant. But if you really want to be a high performer, if you truly want to be a high performance individual, and you want to walk into a room and have that elevated vibration almost all the time, where you radiate confidence, where you inspire others, and they are like, no, this guy doesn't only have a big watch, he has his ducks in order, right? He's different. He's a leader. I can smell it there's something in the air, there's something around him, right? If you want to have that vibration all of the time, where this trick isn't really needed because you show up confident all of the time, one of the best ways to do that is to get your act together when it comes to your body, your health, and your fitness. Because I know when I let my nutrition go off, or I don't work out for a week or two, I show up differently in that micro behavior. I don't feel as confident. I don't feel as strong. I don't feel as powerful. So the reason that I am able to continue to put in the work that I need to put into at the gym, and the reason I never burn out in business, is because there's purpose behind the process. And let me say that again so you get it. There's purpose behind the progress. And I know that my life is easier when I show up as a 1%er in my body, in my physiology. When I'm taking care of my body, I know that those micro behaviors show up differently from other people. Even if they can't articulate it, I'm walking differently, I'm talking differently, I'm shaking a hand differently. All that stuff lurks in the unconscious. And so when people come into the program here at Fit Executive Co., I have to help them find that purpose for them, usually, right? It's not only about eat this and go to bed at that time and get some steps in, move more, don't be a tree, right? Go to the gym 2, 3, or 4 times per week for 30 to 45 minutes, lift some weights. It's not only about this. It's also about the mental game, setting the right goals that stretch you but that are realistic, and backing them up with a massive why finding the purpose behind those goals. Otherwise, those goals are emotionless, are meaningless to your subconscious. And then your subconsciousness mind will self-sabotage you. So you can either have it working with you, right? Making things happen automatically in the background without you even have to think about it. If you let the purpose sink in to your identity, or you can have it working against you by not being clear on the why behind it. So that's a big aspect of what we do here at Fit Executive Co. It's a mental transformation, and the physical transformation is almost like a byproduct of the mental transformation, okay? You have to become that person, and we help you become that person, okay, by putting you in an environment where other high achievers are doing the same things too, who have the same challenges, who are running businesses, who are leading families, who have a 60, 70, 80-hour work week, who are traveling, who are entertaining clients just like you do, and who show up week after week after week, get results week after week after week, and just seeing other guys like you win makes your mind drop all of the excuses. I can do that too. Why can he do that and I shouldn't be able? No, that doesn't make sense, right? So just seeing other guys like you win is a big aspect of why you see all the transformations that you see when you look at the before and afters that we post, okay? So, but the reason that I work with CEOs and entrepreneurs and high level people is they want to achieve more in life. And so they come to us, and I have to help them understand that no matter how good they are doing right now in family or in their family life, in their business life, they are probably already pretty successful, but in their body they might be average, right? Or they might be even below average. There is always going to be a next level. Even if you're doing pretty good, there's always a next level. And a lot of times taking your body to that next level elevates the heck out of the results also in your business, right? It happens over and over and over again for our clients, and they are emitting a different vibration. Their little tiny unconscious micro behaviors are different to the people around them, and this compounds. They become more influential over time. Their team, their clients, their wives, their kids, their friends, they look at them with different eyes. So why am I talking about all these things at once here, right? I'm talking about your ability to have your physiology override your psychology. I'm talking about without purpose, the process is going to be flat. Right? Why am I talking about both of those things in the same show, in the same podcast episode? One, I wanted you to understand how important your physiology is and to articulate that, again, there are studies that prove that if you stand in that moment and you stand in that posture, your actual hormonal output, so for example your testosterone levels increase by just standing differently, by just standing in a more confident position with your legs wide. If you make yourself big, like the Superman pose, or like show yourself how strong you are, you're emitting a different vibration. It affects your hormones, it affects your energy, it affects the way you act, it affects your way you think. You have more mental clarity, more sharpness, and by standing in a different posture alone, okay, and that is incredible. But if your physiology is that important, by you just being able to stand differently, how much more powerful would you be if that whole physiological system, difficult word for my German tongue, if your body was on point 365 days of the year, how much different, how much more powerful would you become? That is the whole point of all of this. And the reason I tie that to the purpose is because if you start a training program or you just hire a nutrition coach and they are talking about macros and, you know, like going to the gym, getting 10,000 steps in, and you don't have any purpose behind it, you're only gonna do it for a short amount of time. The reason our clients, our people get ridiculous results like clockwork is because we build that purpose for them or with them. We build that bridge of what they have to do to get to the result, and ultimately what the purpose is in the beginning. You probably remember Phil Jackson from the Chicago Bulls, or also his player, Steve Kerr, who won a bunch of championships with the Chicago Bulls, but who also coached the Golden State Warriors to 4 titles. They have been famous for talking about the process. But you could give their whole playbook, everything in their brain, and you could hand it to another team that doesn't win championships because it doesn't have the championship mentality. And they could run the same place, but they wouldn't become champions. Right? It's if somebody can find the purpose behind what they're doing, they're not gonna do it long enough to ever achieve that result, right? To ever achieve something meaningful in life and something lasting. We want you to leave a legacy behind, a legacy of health, a legacy of wealth, a legacy of abundance, and that is what you need a strong body for. Okay, so I hope that hits for you if you've struggled with your fitness, or if you've struggled making more money maybe. One of the only reasons that's happening is because you haven't found enough purpose behind your goals. Or if you're doing okay in those areas, but you know you could do more, you could do better, revisit your purpose. Work on your physique and work on your business and also on your relationships with more and a better purpose. Okay, we're going to go into how to find your purpose on another episode here, but the message is going to work for you can be easy. Going to the gym for you can be easy. Going to work for me, or going to work, going to the gym, which is kind of like the same for me. Consider it part of my job to stay fit, but it's easy. Going to do whatever it takes is easy. It's not a grind. It's not a struggle. I'm in a flow because there's massive purpose behind what I'm doing. I'm very clear on my goals. I'm very clear on my why behind those goals. Why I want what I want from life. So going to the gym becomes a piece of cake for me, and it can become a piece of cake for you too. And yeah, sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, there are days where I'm like, I don't really want to do these sets of squats, right? It's heavy. I don't want to go for a walk. It's cold. It's rainy. I live in Ottawa, right? So the winters here can be quite long. And then I still do my walks. I still do my workouts. I still do those squats because my goals and my purpose and my why are stronger than my feelings. However, most of the time there's so much purpose behind going there because I understand that when my physiology is on point, my business is better, my relationships are better. I'm a happier Arne, right? I'm all of those things. There's so much purpose behind it that I do whatever it takes with a smile on my face. I do whatever it takes. And if you're ever gonna win in your fitness, and if you're ever gonna win in your business, if you ever wanna win in life, there has got to be a massive purpose behind the process, right? Or you're gonna be the guy that walks into a gym and that just goes through the motions, and you're gonna be a guy who walks into your office and who just goes through the motions. It's because you haven't found purpose. Okay, go find that purpose. Now, enough of that. I wanted to tie both things together to this idea that your physiology is important for high performance. Psychology is only half of the equation. Feeding your mind with positive books and positive thoughts, putting yourself in a positive environment, in a clean and structured environment that allows you to focus, that's only half of it. Okay, it's only half of it. And an excellent physiology based on the research out there, and also based on my personal experience, based on working with hundreds of high achievers myself, and it's even more important to override your psychology in times of need. So I want you to use that. Okay, use it. Don't just listen to it. Use it. Okay. Think back to the beginning of the show, and think back to how I started that. If you can, think about a single time in your life when you were the most confident, and you can close your eyes for a minute or two, and you can just embody that feeling. You can embody that feeling almost instantly, right? It's already deep inside of you, and you're gonna show up differently in the moment that comes next. In the like, you have to remind yourself constantly, how great would it be though if we could harness that power by creating a magnificent body that feels and looks and performs great all of the time. A body that reflects your success in other areas of your life, that shows what your standard is, right? And that's coming with purpose. That is the purpose game that we play, because if you want more, a lot of times the answer lies in how excellent your physiology can be. So if you have any questions, please drop a comment or just send me an email to arne@fitexecutive.co. That's it for today's show. If you want to learn more about like how we do things at fitexecutive.co, you can just go to www.fitexecutive.co, and you can download my free book, the Fit Executive Blueprint. It's awesome. It's the book that I wish I had when I was 50 pounds overweight. When I was getting started on my fitness journey, it would have saved me a bunch of time. But thank you. Thank you for spending your time with me today. And I wish you a wonderful day, and talk soon. Bye.